Hi guys, I'm here at Brynau, Coed's newest and largest woodland creation site, and I'm here to meet Chris, the site manager here, and meet his team of volunteers and conservationists. Chris was instrumental in ensuring we acquired Brynau in 2018. This is definitely a wood for the community as it's in easy reach of Neath. As part of our big climate fight back, we hosted our largest tree planting event, where people planted over 5,000 trees in one day.
Brynau and Preswyl is our largest woodland creation project here in Wales to date for the Trust. It's also the largest plant project site, which is where the Welsh Government, ourselves and Size of Wales plant a tree for every child born or adopted in Wales. And it's also on the cusp of 20% of the Welsh population, so that's the Swansea and the Neath-Port Talbot area.
What do you think the benefits of having a woodland like this in such close proximity to where you live?
Well, it's literally walking distance to experience that wild new area, a new forest area, so people will be able to watch this grow as they visit daily on their daily walks for exercise, or bring their children, or even just experience nature firsthand, really close to where they live. The woodland's got a number of purposes. One is obviously, goes without saying, is about wildlife, so it's encouraging wildlife, bringing back those species into this landscape, which we would like to see. It's preserving and enhancing the ancient woodlands, which are already here. They're all scattered and fragmented, so it's about securing those for the future. And then one of the other purposes of the site is also to look at how natural solutions like tree planting can help deal with things like climate change. So we're monitoring water flowing, we're monitoring temperature, and all of the sorts of meteorological data to understand how woodlands change our landscape for the future to meet our climate change targets.
Can you tell me the benefits of a new woodland creation like this has on flood mitigation and climate change?
Well, traditional flood management would include hard engineering of some kind, flood walls for example. So here we're looking at using natural processes. Trees do a number of things, as well as giving us oxygen and homes for wildlife. They absorb moisture and they also push water into the soil. So it's about slowing the flow. It doesn't stop the flow, it just reduces the speed at which it leaves this area of the catchment and then goes into the town below. So the town below has suffered historically with flooding. So we're working with the local authority to manage that through using natural processes like we see here. We've got a plastics reduction plan. It's very difficult to achieve 100% no plastic because it's in so many different parts of our lives. But what we're looking at is using processes to reduce our reliance upon plastics. So as you see the ones here, these have got a rabbit fence around them to stop browsing mammals destroying the trees. And the canes here are just merely to mark where the tree is, so we can then manage that and do any weeding which we might need to do. We're also encouraging birds of prey, so we're keeping dead trees like the one we've got over here, which provide raptor posts. And these help manage the small mammals. But over time this site will create a new ecosystem where everything is sort of working towards a balance. So you will have top apex predators and small mammals, and they should be able to manage each other quite concisive. We're also keeping open space, and that's to encourage other birds of prey like barn owls and such to provide habitat and territory for them to use. So hopefully it will start to balance out and we can reduce our plastics usage across the site by around about 80%, which is huge.
Yes, you mentioned there's lots of open spaces here as well as the new woodland creation. They're grazed by cattle, is that right?
Yeah, so the site has got some historic landscape aesthetic to it. It was once part of a listed landscape, the Knoll Estate, and we're looking to recreate other types of woodland habitat. So it's not just blocks of trees, we're looking at parkland trees, orchards, hedgerows and things like that. And to manage those open spaces, we've got our own herd of Welsh white cattle. They're an ancient breed for Wales, and they date back to the 10th century as a breed. They're very low impact, extensively grazed. They have very little inputs from us, and they're mimicking that sort of natural system, those large herbivores that we would have seen a long time ago in this area. Like most of the UK, ancient woodland is generally scattered, fragmented into little bits. At Brynau we've got small compartments, some that's classified as ancient woodland, others that we believe is ancient woodland, and it's got all the indicators in it that tell us so. And also the Knoll Country Park behind us, which is also classified as ancient woodland. So it's linking all those areas up and making them more resilient.
Chris, there's obviously been a lot of work happened here over the last 12 months. Did you do it all yourself?
I'd like to say yes, but the short answer is no. It's been done in a conjunction with contractors who we've used for a number of years, volunteers, and that's new and existing volunteers, so people have come to us in the last 12 months. At quite a increased recruitment level as well. We've got around about 30 volunteers. And we've also worked with, just before the lockdown period from 2020, we had a number of schools and public events, and we had over 200 people turn up to one event to help us plant trees. So I'm just the person who supplies the trees and does all the running around in the background, and it's actually the contractors and volunteers who do all of the work themselves. Every tree here is not planted by machine, it's planted by hand. And when you consider on this half of the site there's over 80,000, that's quite a lot. So it's been a real success.
There's no public access at Brynau at the moment, where we begin important restoration work and improve access for visitors. However, we welcome volunteers and we'll be hosting special behind-the-scenes open days this summer.
The volunteer party's been going for quite a few years throughout the different woodlands, Coed, Melyn, Dyffryn Woods and now Brynau. And they form an important part of the Woodland Trust, helping them to manage these beautiful sites and cut down a bit on contractor costs, as well as engaging the local people so they have a invested interest in these sites going forward then.
Chris was talking about all the amazing work that's been going on here at Brynau. Can you tell me a little bit about what volunteers have done here?
They've done quite a lot, to be honest, so far. They've planted quite a few thousand trees. As we can see in this field here, they've been planted in mounds to help reduce the use of herbicide on the woodland. We've dealt with invasive non-natives such as rhododendron in the other parts of the woods, and more recently we've been doing litter picks with historic litter that's found across the site from its previous uses. Most of it has been done while the whole country was in lockdown. Many of the volunteers were quite relieved because it was an escape for them to get out into the green spaces, and it was great for their sort of mental health really as well, because one of the big parts of volunteering is it's a massive social. So people come out, as well as getting the hard work, people get enjoyment and they make good friends from it as well. So yeah, we did quite a lot through the lockdowns really. In the wetter areas we've got alder, and then on the drier edges we've got hazel and oak, hawthorn and rowan in the hedge banks, all native broadleaves.
Can you tell me a bit about the benefits of that?
The native broadleaves sequester more carbon, and they have far more benefits than non-natives for wildlife in the area.
We welcome volunteers and we'll be hosting special behind-the-scenes open days this summer. So it was great to spend a little bit of time with Ed and the volunteers here at Brynau today, and to see all the amazing work that they are doing to help this place get to where we need it to be. And there are lots and lots of ways that you too can get involved in volunteering with Coetiriaid and the Woodland Trust, and one of those is through Nature's Calendar. Nature's Calendar is our phenology database that tracks the seasonal changes of animals and plants throughout the country. All that information then is vital to scientific research. So for example, I'm here in an elder tree, and I know it's an elder tree because of the shape and the structure of the leaves, and I can see some of the flowers are just about to come out here. So when this tree does start to flower, I'll be going on to our website, woodlandtrust.org.uk, and checking out Nature's Calendar, inputting that information into there, and then scientists can use that information to model climate change. For more information about Brynau, volunteering or Nature's Calendar, follow these links.